All is going to be up right now. Also, I normally don't wear shirts. Actually, let me scoot you guys up because I'm usually not self-conscious, but I normally don't wear these types of shirts on the internet. I normally will have a t-shirt, but you guys, I just got out of a cold shower. It was fantastic. This is usually what time I get home. Took me a shower, made me a little bit of bow tie pasta with just marinara sauce. With some Parmesan cheese. 10 out of 10 recommend. And I figured for whoever's awake right now, we can hang out. There's a lot, I have like 3 subscribers that live in, I have 3 that live in Australia, and I'm sure your all's times are not the same. And I have a bunch that live in the UK. So I figured if you're on YouTube right now, we can have dinner. It is like 4 in the morning East Coast time right now. And I'm so hungry. I have my lunch at work at 9. And I had 2 chicken fingers and like 3 or 4 fries. I just wasn't that hungry. I work in a hospital. And so usually I really like their healthy choice because usually it's like, for example, the other night they had like a steamed California medley vegetable, which was like cauliflower and broccoli and carrots. It was so fucking dank. But tonight they had this weird vegetable, like weird bowl though. It was like weird rice that I've never eaten before. And a friend of mine that I work with got it, and she was like, it tastes like nothing. All I can taste is the hummus. So I'm glad I went with my choice of the chicken fingers. But I'm hungry, so. Literally, bow tie pasta, marinara sauce. A little bit of Parmesan cheese. And Code Red. Because literally all I drink at the hospital is water. Because it's so hot. Oh my God. And it's been so hot these past few days in Tennessee. It's been 100 degrees minimum. Chris's alarm is going off. And I don't even know why he said so. It's the most annoying thing because he knows that I'm going to wake him. Let me go cut this off. My little shadow following mommy wherever she goes, huh? Anyways, I figured that since I'm up eating my dinner, that I would just see who's on. What are we doing? Like I said, it's 4 o'clock East Coast time. I took a cold shower because, like I said, it was so fucking hot in the hospital tonight. And, like, if you're unfamiliar with, like, the sanitation floor of a hospital, they run, like, extremely fucking hot water. And they have to keep it at a specific temperature to, like, kill that bacteria. And to completely, like, sanitize it. So, it's fucking hot. And the whole thing, heat rises, does not apply at all. I've literally lost let's see, since I started working there, I've been there a month and a week. And when I went to the doctor last week, I've lost 21 pounds. And it's literally all from sweating, plus the steps, because hospitals are ginormous. Tonight I walked almost 20,000 steps. I was like so close. I was at 19,847. I was so close. But anyways, plus if you, oh my gosh, there's some drama in the work chat, which I cannot talk about here. I would love to. I would love to tell you guys about it and really hear what you guys have to say. Because you guys would love to fucking hear this shit. Oh my God. Did you guys see the TikTok that was trending today? I think it's so weird because a lot of people will see the same trending videos I see and a lot of people don't. Anyways, this woman had gotten a divorce, and her and her husband had bought a house together, and he had had an affair and moved in with his new person. And so she was trying to figure out how she was going to come up with her mortgage on her own. So she decided that she was going to sublet it through Airbnb. Y'all, this woman went out of town, and I think she's like an influencer. I've never heard of her, but I think she is, just because of the way she was explaining her job. She was like, she went out of town for a weekend to do something, so she sublet it through Airbnb that weekend, came back, and I don't know what state she's in, but came back, and the woman was, well, the woman was supposed to leave 3 days before she got back. She was gone for like a week or something. Yeah, that's right. She was gone for like a week or something. And she said that 3 days before she got back, the girl that was subletting it was supposed to leave, or renting it through Airbnb, whatever. And this woman contacted her maid and had her maid go out there to clean it. And the maid called her and was like, hey, there's a woman still here. And so she was thinking, well, maybe it's my mom or something. And so she called her mom and her sister. Neither one of them were there. So she called the maid and she was like, what does she look like? And the maid described what she looked like to her. And she was like, that's the girl through Airbnb. Why is she still at my house? Y'all, this woman gets back, and this person from Airbnb is refusing to leave. And the police, in whatever state she's in, because of their rules, she has to go to the courthouse, file like this thing that says that there's a squatter in her home. And then they will like subpoena the girl who's there. And because that will be a piece of mail, she then will have to wait 30 more days after that in order to get that woman to leave her house. They'll have to actually go to court. What the fuck? And I was reading all of the comments to try to find out what state, because she was videoing this woman in her house and like blurring out her face. And the woman was like full on, like getting in her cabinets, like I'll be damned. I would be dragging that bitch outside, like getting in her cabinets, getting in her refrigerator, lit a cigarette in her home when she doesn't smoke in her house. And the Airbnb chick was like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm here for 30 days. 30 days. And then the woman like called Airbnb and was like, what the fuck? Like, why is this not on her profile? And they were like, we've never had a complaint. They were like, she's Airbnb'd so many times and we've never had a complaint. Well, come to find out, this woman started digging through the reviews or whatever, because I guess the woman staying there used to have an Airbnb herself, and was reading through her reviews, and the people in there were saying that, like leaving reviews on her thing, like her actual Airbnb, of the experiences they had had with her at their Airbnb, if that makes sense. But yeah, whatever state she's in, if any of you all know your squatter rules in your state, if this sounds like it's your state, please let us know. Like, because that's fucking crazy. Because I know in the state of Tennessee, you have to have a piece of mail at the residence. And if you have received a piece of mail, then you have 30 days to be evicted. But like an Airbnb situation, Dolly, quit. Like you wouldn't have gotten mail. So the police would escort you off the property. But according to whatever state they're in, the laws, like she had filmed the police and they were like, no, because of our state squatter rules, you have to go to the courthouse. And, oh, I forgot this part. And she has to pay $497 as well for the subpoena, which basically pays for the time for the person to come out and serve this woman with papers. And it's going to pay for like the court hearing they're going to have where they're all going to go to court and they're going to see that it was, you know, agreed upon that this woman was going to be there like 5 days. And then they're going to have her leave, but she'll get 30 days from that point. That's so fucked up. So that woman's going to just, what, live in her house for 60 days? Unwanted. You know what I was telling a friend of mine at work? I was like, I would literally go to my mom's. I would call the electric company, call the water company and say I would like to temporarily disconnect my service because it's fucking hotter than balls everywhere. That would run somebody the fuck out. I would call and stay gone like 4 days, watch my Nest Cam, went as soon as the bitch left, hightail it back home. It's so crazy what squatters will do. I'm really contemplating doing a video on squatters because I was watching a documentary not too long ago that I was going to do a beauty and documentary on, but I was in my funk. I've actually got the whole thing written down. But there's a Netflix documentary. If you can think of what I think it's called Roommates from Hell or something like that. I roommated with something. It's like basically horrible roommate stories of all these people who rented out a room, or which is mostly what it is. Like they rented out a room to someone and they're squatters, and one of them ended in murder. So let me know if you guys would be interested in doing a beauty and documentary on that show, because it was very, very interesting. And these people they show no fucking, like they've all got to be narcissists because they literally have no empathy. They have no respect at all. Like just fully, just like, I'm not going nowhere. Like you're stuck with me until the judge says I have to leave. And I think it's New York that has like some crazy rules. New York and Florida, I think, because I know one of the women was from New York and she ended up leaving the apartment because New York would not get that man out. And the other woman had bought a house in Florida. I can't remember all of her story, but I know that she ended up losing the apartment. I can't remember all the details, but I will rewatch it and read the notes that I have so far. And if you guys want it, we can do a beauty and documentary on it because it's very interesting. It's like a whole group of people, and that's what they do is they squat places. So, you know, they're saying, oh, well, I'll rent from you and then stop paying completely. And then it's like hell getting them out of your house. And at first they'll like pretend to be your friend and like pay rent on time. Like one of them in the show paid like 6 or 7 months rent in advance. So they became like really good friends and like all this shit. And as soon as rent was due again, like locking themselves in the room, like fully not leaving type shit. Just be sure, if you're gonna rent someone a room in your state, that you know your state laws. You know your rights. And honestly, they say that it's not good to live with someone that you know, but maybe I would possibly do like especially because all of the fucking horrible experiences I've had. I've not even told you all half of my roommate stories. I still have at least 7 I can think of out of the top of my head that I haven't told you. And that's like longer than 30-day roommates. Like, for real. I've had it fucking rough. But if I was to ever be in that situation again, it would be a 30-day trial run to see how we live together. And then if I decide I want to sign a lease, but see, people can be fake. If they're squatters still, they can act like they're this perfect roommate, or just do a month-to-month lease. Could you imagine that? You Airbnb your house out, you come back from vacation and you have a fucking squatter there, and in your state you have to wait 60 days minimum before you can get them the fuck out, and they're like refusing to leave, smoking in your house when you don't smoke. And I was reading the comments on it, and the girl was like, the woman that had actually filmed the video, she was like, and she's tearing up my house. There's scratches all over my hardwood floor. They both had ethnic hair. They were both black women. She was saying that she was using all of her hair product, like had broken one of her irons, her hot comb, all kinds of fucking shit. I was like, bitch, I would make life a living fucking hell. I'd be slamming fucking pots in here, fucking doing karaoke when I got home at night. Like, you ain't even getting me in that shit. Nope. I've had too many horrible roommates. I know how to fuck to get rid of one. The thing with me, I'm so fucking Sagittarius in this way. If you piss me off, like, you've pissed me off. Like, the fire sign in me is like gonna come for you, period. Like, there is no, especially when it comes to like someone that I deeply care for. But like the other side of me, which is what? Isn't it like a, I think I'm like a Taurus sun or some shit. I don't know. I'm a Sagittarius too. Sages in the house. I can't remember what my rising sign is. I can't remember. But anyways, I am always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. I have the biggest heart. I will literally go without and give to you. Like, have always been that way. But if you fucking cross me, I will tell the internet a story time about you, and that is on God. Like, brass on God. Like, for real. I will tell the internet about you. I will talk shit about you on the internet, says Billie Eilish, and says me. Like, for real. I don't play that shit. Really? Dolly, you want a noodle? Come here. Come here, mama. Like you're not gonna eat it. I just got fucking, God. Anyways, so that's been my issue with like roommates, is I just am always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, and you never know if like the day that you show someone an apartment, if they're having like a really fucking bad day. Because who wants to go look for a fucking apartment? I mean, yeah, sure, you want to go look for a house if you're going to buy one, but who has ever been like, damn, I can't wait to go look for an apartment, except for the first one you got? Anytime after that, it's been such a fucking headache. You know you're going to have to pack all your shit up at your now place, pack it all up just to fucking move it to a new place and unpack it all over again and put it back up. Like, it's such a fucking pain in the ass. The fucking U-Hauls, if you're going to have a mover, the fucking lights, the water getting cut, all that fucking shit. Like, it's a pain in the ass. So when I used to have roommates, I would always be like, well, it's not a fucking great experience. Like, you know, but then there were some that I was like, this is not going to fucking work. Cue the girl who shit under the shit and put it underneath our living room couch. Like, I knew that that was going to be a bad situation, and still yet I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I really need to tell, what will we call him? You know what we're going to call him? We're going to call him Steve, because he looks identical to Steve Harvey. I need to tell the story about him. He is the worst roommate I ever had. I need to tell the story about him. I need to tell that story. I think I'll do that story after I do part 2. By the way, if you didn't watch the story time I uploaded today, it's a makeup horror story about a racist, stupid bitch wedding planner who no longer plans in my area, but her name is ruined, but somehow is still able to plan weddings in surrounding counties. I told part 1, which was literally just a preface, and I actually filmed the video in its entirety, but it ended up being like over 60 minutes. It was like over a full hour. So I ended up editing it down to 17 and just uploaded the preface, like the very first interaction we had. But I'm going to refilm like this final straw, the straw that broke the camel's back, and tell you guys what happened in the end. Like, fucking racist, homophobic wedding planner. And I do use a name that's very close to her name, just for the simple fact, if you are planning a wedding in this area, and number 1, a lot of people come to East Tennessee to get married. Number 2, a lot of those people who come to East Tennessee to get married, they come to Sevierville. It is a very touristy area, but there is Gatlinburg, and in Gatlinburg is little places like Townsend and Cades Cove, which are very, very much notorious for having these beautiful mountain backset creek vibes, like just fucking gorgeous. Google Cades Cove, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and tell me that that's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. So a lot of people come here to get married, but if you come to Tennessee to get married and you choose a wedding planner anywhere in East Tennessee, please, for the love of God, go to hashtag Knoxville wedding planner reviews on Google, okay? Or you can just, I think you can literally just Google Knoxville wedding planners and reviews, and it will pop up Reddits with her name. If she's even still planning around here. I don't know that for a fact. I do know that her husband took a job in Atlanta like a year ago. And I was told at that time that she was still planning weddings, but she wasn't planning them in Knoxville. She was like taking people who were getting married in Sevierville or Lenoir City or Loudoun County, you know, Granger County, counties that surround Knox County, basically. But I need to actually look and see if her reviews are still up and see if like anybody's has had a wedding planned by her recently. Because this bitch is, not to mention she's a scammer. She really and truly is. Like, she takes all of this money. I'm pretty sure, well, I know for a fact, the last wedding that I worked with her on, she was being paid 20 grand to plan those guys' weddings. I haven't told you guys that part of the story yet. Spoiler alert, it's 2 guys. I'm actually still friends with Dylan to this day. He watches my videos all the time and my lives. But this was literally when I met Dylan. I didn't know Dylan before this, and he was getting married to Robbie. And that's literally the final straw, is when I met Dylan and Robbie at their wedding. And they paid her like over 20 grand to get fucking married. She literally does not answer calls. She just sends them emails like, this is a venue, this is a venue, this is a venue, this is a venue. And then she'll send like links to Instagrams, like my Instagram and other makeup artists in the area. And then because Dylan really wanted his skin done at the wedding and his brows, and he chose me, which I don't really like to say this just because I don't want people who don't like me on the internet to try to affect like my main source of income. But one of my main sources of income is doing drag at XYZ in Knoxville. So I don't share my business Instagram on social media because of that. I don't want people to, you know, try to book like fake things and like just mess with my business, so I keep it private. But on there, I have a lot of my portfolio is male skin, whether it be natural looking or it's full on drag. So Dylan chose me, and y'all are not even gonna believe what the fuck this bitch did. I'll give you all one part. Number one, she told me it was a woman's wedding. Like, she literally doesn't even know what the people look like herself. So that should be tip number one. If you do a wedding in Tennessee and your wedding coordinator never meets with you. Like, no Zoom calls, nothing. Always go in person at venues. Period. I know in Tennessee a lot of people don't, because if you've been to Cade Cove once, you've been 100 times. You know, the destination spots, you know, like Mount LeConte and shit, like the Prairie, like places in Gatlinburg, Townsend, shit like that, that people get married at. Like, all of us around here know those areas. So I can definitely see why people wouldn't, or the barn, like I could understand why people would not go and meet with her, because they know what the venue looks like. They're just literally wanting to book it. And that's our job, is to do it. So yeah, you guys are going to gag when I tell you what happened with Dylan, because it was fucked. But yeah, if you watch my TikTok, then you know me and a coworker of mine fully seen this man in the cafeteria, mind you, while we're eating our lunch, digging his butthole, like fully. Like, he was pretty much elbow deep in his actual butthole. Like, not just in the crack. Like, he was in there like swimwear. Underneath underwear, you could see like his underwear line over his hand. Literally, we're sitting there, because like as soon as, where he was standing, like as soon as you look up, he was right in front of my face. There was no way I couldn't look at him. Like, he was right there. But he was like scratching his ass, like in his butthole. And I looked over at Karen and I was like, oh dear God. And her mouth dropped, and because she looked, and then her mouth dropped. And so I looked back, and this motherfucker is sniffing his fingers and then put them in his motherfucking mouth. Now listen, yes, I work in a hospital. I also rode down on the elevator with this man, walked with this man into the cafeteria, checked out with him behind me. He was fully functional, there with his granddaughter, fully functioning adult. And like I said on TikTok, I'm really starting to feel a disconnect from humanity at this point. Like, I have nothing in common with you if you literally are scratching your ass in the middle of the largest hospital in East Tennessee in the cafeteria, which is the size of a fucking Target. Like, our cafeteria is so fucking big. And at that time, it was like probably 10:30 at this point. There was anywhere from 25 to 40 people in that cafeteria, and where he was standing was like the center. So basically, anywhere you were sitting, unless your back was to him, you seen what happened. Like I said in the TikTok, 75% of the fucking cafeteria could see him. Like, if you're, I know, listen, I get it. Like, it's been so fucking hot in Tennessee. I get that, you know, your butt crack is going to sweat. That is why you always carry either baby wipes or hygiene wipes with you when you go to the restroom. Refresh that shit, okay? That's number one. Number two, if your ass is itching where other people are eating their food, excuse yourself and go to the restroom. Nobody wants to see you scratch in your butt. It's like a train wreck. Once you see someone digging in their ass, you can't look away. But more importantly, like, you're right in front of my face. Like, unless I'm staring at my food, As soon as I look up for my food, bam, you're right there. And I can get the scratch. Honestly, I would do that privately. I'm definitely not going to barehanded scratch my butthole. Um, if anyone needs to know another way, an alternative, take your toilet paper and like kind of scratch your butthole or something. Like, come on now. Do not do that in the middle of a restaurant cafeteria, like where people are trying to eat, because that completely threw me off my food. And the reason why I'm eating a bowl of pasta at 4 a.m. because I watched a grown ass, probably 55-year-old man scratch his asshole and then sniff and lick it. He went like this. For real. Same hand. It was not a different hand. I have a witness that was with me. And me and her were so disgusted. I was like, I literally cannot eat anything else. Like, I cannot put food in my mouth after that. I cannot put food in my mouth after that, like 1,000%. And she was like, yeah, I'm done. Literally threw them away because where I work in the operating rooms, like I can't take food back to my locker. So what doesn't get finished in the cafeteria gets trashed out. Literally had like a whole chicken tender, a bite of the second one, and maybe 4 French fries. The rest got threw out. I was so disgusted. I was like, what the fuck? And like, that's all anybody was talking about in the cafeteria. I swear, when me and my coworker left, like 16 other people left right behind us. Like, everybody seen what that motherfucker did. And not only that, he didn't wash his hands. There are also sanitizer, which, number one, if you scratch your butthole, hand sanitizer is not enough. You need to go and scrub your fucking hands. But he didn't wash his hands, nor did he use hand sanitizer. He then went over to a booth, sat down, and ate his Subway sandwich. We have a Subway in our cafeteria. Sat down and fully started eating a sandwich. I'm like, I have literally no connection to you. Like, I know people say, oh, we're all God's children. Like, I am not I am not related to you. There is no being within inside my body that would ever allow me to do that. Like, ever in 1,000 years. And I don't know anyone in my life who would do that either. Like, I get it's hot. I get that it's been really fucking hot this year, and obviously we're all sweating in our butt cracks. If your butt crack doesn't sweat, congratulations. You win this award, I guess. But like, go to the restroom, excuse yourself, you know? Clean your sweat out, wash your fucking hands. That's another thing. That's a whole other tangent I could go on, is the amount of people, after we were in a 2.5 year global pandemic, the amount of people who come, and I'm talking, well, I'm not going to say that. The amount of people who use the restroom and fully walk out of that restroom, either A, only using hand sanitizer, or B, not washing their hands or using hand sanitizer at all. That is very discouraging and highly disgusting. Like, highly disgusting. Not to mention, like I said, I work in a hospital where you are still required to wear a mask. Okay, it is a hospital. We do still have COVID floors. There are still people being treated for COVID. There are still level 4 COVID cases all over the country. It is not completely gone. It is still there. It does still exist, unfortunately. So when you enter our hospital, you have to answer a bunch of questions asking if you've had any symptoms within the last 14 days, and you have to have your temperature taken, and you have to wear this sticker on your shirt the whole time that you're inside the hospital. Aside from that, you have to wear a mask. We deliver babies there. There are people who are there deathly ill. There are also people there on a quarantine floor, obviously, but there are people there who have been diagnosed with COVID. Just put on the fucking mask while you're in the hospital. Obviously, I would love to be working somewhere out here where you don't have to wear a mask 24/7. I have to wear it all fucking day long while I'm at work. All day. That's what's caused me to start breaking out along my face. Yeah, it fucking sucks. I get it. But what's not going to help the situation is you not washing your hands nor wearing a mask when you're in a hospital full of sick people. Like, if we really want this shit to completely go away to where we only have to wear a mask when we're in surgery, we're going to have to really start working, minding our P's and Q's, like fucking doing shit, you know? Just a whole other ass tangent. I could literally go on for days and days and days. But I was talking to my mom this afternoon because my doctor has put me on a prescription because he is like 95% sure that I have irritable bowel syndrome. If you don't know what IBS is, basically it's where you're bloated all the time, you cannot make a regular bowel movement, you've been more than like 3 months with like hard stools, and that's been me. I have not, I know this is TMI, so if it's too much for you, please click out of this video. But I maybe poop twice a week. And when I do, it's like little hard rabbit pellets, like literally rocks. So my doctor has had me drinking a whole glass of 32 ounces of celery juice a day. Guys, since he's had me start drinking that the other day, he had me start it just literally just yesterday. So I had my glass yesterday, I had my glass today. I've not went to the restroom since I started. And even people who drink it all the time, like Trisha Paytas, like she used to, before she got pregnant, she used to do it all the time to like get ready for a music video or something. I mean, I will say that my skin is looking a lot better, but as far as like making a bowel movement, nothing. So my mom was like, you're gonna have to do it the old fashioned way. And I was like, Mom, I've already done stool softeners. I've already done enemas. I've already done, you know, what else have I done? Stool softeners, enemas, prunes, prune juice, the celery juice. Chris went and got me a whole can of fucking collard greens because my doctor suggested this brand of collard greens. It's like Glory. They were really tasty, but nothing. I ate those Sunday. So this Saturday, do you guys want to know what I'm going to be doing for fun? Drinking a whole jar of magnesium citrate followed by 3 laxatives to see if this gets my poo schedule back to normal. We'll see. But anyways, guys, I took some Benadryl because my allergies are psychotic right now. So I'm going to go lay down. Thank you all for hanging out with me when I got home. I hope you all have a fantastic Wednesday, and I will talk to you guys on my way to work. Bye.